everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Carlos. Today I will be presenting a leg session and discussing, is bodybuilding worth it? Is it worth it to put so much effort into your body? Is it worth it? Well, I believe so. Why? Look at the alternatives. I'm sure everybody out there, everyone, has had a stage in their life where they have not, they've neglected themselves. I'm sure. I mean, nobody's really totally on point since the day they're born. At some point in our lives, some of us get into drugs or alcohol, get overweight, just stop exercising or taking care of ourselves. Stress, worries, whatever it is in life can take over, and your body, your physique, your well-being takes takes second place, takes the back seat. So, is it worth it to put in so much effort into your body? Again, let's consider the alternatives. When you let yourself go, you do not take care of your physique, you don't take care of your nutrition, your exercise. Eventually, you will deteriorate, get old, and die. Now, people will say, well, that's going to happen anyways. Yes and no. To a large degree, you can avoid the hazards and the pathologies of age if you take care of your body. There's many, many examples all throughout history and recent history of men and women who, when they dedicate themselves to proper nutrition, to strenuous efforts with their bodies, they reach a considerable old age with lucidity, great health, increased well-being and joy. And of course, this transmits to all other people and provides a great example, and it's just a net positive on every single level. To not do so is a bit of indulging in a nihilistic ideology. Well, what's the point? We're all going to die, blah, blah, blah. There are many life-affirming reasons for being proactive and doing good in this life. So there's obviously a metaphysical element involved. Why do something or not do it? It's like the Shakespeare, to be or not to be. Me, as a believer, as a Christian, as a person who believes in God, stands on Scripture when it says, choose life, choose blessing. Life is proactive. It has to be chosen. It has to be appropriated. There's a dynamic element of effort, of appropriation, and of courage. It's easier in a certain way to just say, screw it. I don't want to do anything. Just let the dice, roll and the chips fall where they may, and, let's see what happens. I'm not going to take care of my body. I really don't care about anything. I just want to get through this life and let it be over fast. That's a very despairing point of view, but when you think about it, when you don't engage in life fully, you're actually choosing the nihilistic element of the life, of not living, actually. You're choosing death. So, is bodybuilding worth it? Absolutely. Now, to what degree? Again, I spoke about this the other day about being pigeonholed into categories. And when you say, well, bodybuilding, now it's associated with extreme drug use, gluttony, like extreme overeating, to build up the body with 10,000 calories and insulin and growth hormone and 10 different anabolics and all these strange and extreme lifestyles to promote more size and more muscle mass and greater loss of fat and all these things. In and of themselves, losing fat and building muscle is an ideal. To take things to extremes, you can do that. Everybody's free to choose their own way. But what I'm saying is that to associate a healthy activity with the fringe and extremes and the outlier behaviors of some is very detrimental. So is bodybuilding worth it? Absolutely. You should be building your body. You should be building your life, your soul, your mind. Everything in your life should be built. Your finances, everything should be building up as long as you are alive. Not only for your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones and others, and for the benefit of everybody. So building constructivism, being proactive with life, is very life affirming. If you take bodybuilding, if you take physique as a endeavor that will bring positivity into all aspects of your life, then of course it's worthwhile. Could there be anything else more worthwhile? Many people have limitations, extreme disabilities, diseases, all these things. It's beyond the scope of my pay grade right now to present every single situation in life. I'm addressing this to people who can and should, and by and large the general population that is fit and healthy or should be. It is very much worth your while to spend as much effort as possible to build yourself up. So, getting into today's bodybuilding routine, the legs. We have one leg session per week. We're at the stage where it requires more volume, we're at a higher intensity, and so full body routines, while they are very good for newbie or at a certain level of training where you can't do too much work on each body part and you're not doing extreme amount of weights on any one compound, you start morphing into different training systems that segment your body more and more and more. Once you're more advanced, you're lifting 300, 400, 500 pounds on some exercises. You're doing not 3 or 4 sets, but you're doing 8, 10, 12, 15 sets per body part. That requires a special day for that muscle. And so leg training. We've built up to a certain level now. It's hard for me to go beyond that. My 5 plates on the hack squat, the 6 plates now on the vertical leg press, which is very different from the angled leg press. This angled leg press can handle, I went up to 11 plates one time, going pretty decent depth. Half the weight with that is much more brutal on the vertical than on the angled. And it's also kind of dangerous. It's hard to bail on the vertical leg press in any case. So I've reached these outer limits of what I can do at the present time. Also dropping weight on a cut, on a deficit. So it's not really conducive to pushing weight higher and higher as if I was training for strongman or powerlifting or something. I'm dropping body weight. So maximum absolute increases in weight is not really what's called for. But I compensate for that with increased volume. More sets, more reps, just more work volume on this target muscle. The thing also that's been incorporated in the last few sessions is a change of angle. Does the angle influence muscle? Does it influence muscle development? It does. By and large, I like to train just basics without really biasing the muscle in any particular way. Squatting with, wide stance, hip flexion, and I see, or at least the old school where you would bring your knees real close in and squat down with your knees very close just to hit the quads. These type of techniques, I never really did those type of techniques. I just basic, hit the entire leg, the entire quad. But in this last session, I did bias the quads with a very narrow stance on the hack squat, just to give it a try. Just because, okay, I reached my limit, I can't really do more. I'm not going to go higher than 5 plates. I have to do more work here, more volume, more sets, more reps. So what do? I played around with the angle. And yes, it does work. It does make a difference. I felt it with the DOMs on the next day. Delayed onset of muscle soreness. That should tell you what muscles are being worked. That was an old school technique of, well, you want to know if this exercise is building your triceps. Throw a lot of volume at it and a lot of intensity on a particular day, and of course you'll be sore the next day. And those muscles that are very sore, those are the ones that have been properly worked. And so it's kind of a bro science-y way of learning what muscles are more biased in a certain exercise. So I did that with the squat, with the hack squat, narrow stance angle. And boy, does it work. It really does work. I incorporated some slow reps, some time under tension at the end. Does that work? Is it better than doing fast reps? Better? No. There's nothing that is better than another system. There is a different use and a different purpose. That's why I really dislike when somebody says, this is the best way to train. This training split is the best way. That is a bad way. You do it this way and not that way. For what? For what purpose? Everything has a different purpose. So slow reps have their place. Fast reps have their place. You certainly don't practice slow bar speed when you're doing powerlifting. That's not how it works. You got to move that bar fast. The faster the bar speed, the better your possibilities of hitting your weight, of hitting your rep. So everything has its different use. Time under tension. What is time under tension? Typically or classically understood, it's extending the set. Your set lasts 30 seconds, you did 12 reps or 10 reps, and you go for extra reps. You are now doing more time under tension. And some people have understood this to mean, well, just train very slow. Like, just bring it down, it's very, very, very slow. Everything you just do is slow because now you're going to have more time under tension. Yes, but that's decompensated by the less amount of absolute work that you're doing. So instead of doing 12 reps, you're only doing 6, and it took you twice as long, but now you're detraining yourself, your central nervous system for explosive movement and power, and you're training yourself just for static hold and very slow reps, and it's not really conducive to athleticism. You don't really see, it's like backwards. In my mind, it's absolutely backwards. Doesn't mean it's not used and I don't use it. I use it at the end. Once I've done my explosive reps, once I've done my hard sets with as many reps as I can. Again, I won't tire of saying this. In physics, an object that is taken through a distance multiplied by the time it takes is the output of the energy that is required to move it. So you move a stone 100 yards at 5 miles an hour, it expends X amount of energy. You move that stone 100 yards at 100 miles an hour, and of course that requires a lot more energy. So you understand that speed is a very important component of mechanical tension. Of course, you don't want to spaz out. Everything has it's moderated by common sense and reason. Okay? So you want to use speed on certain sets until you max out. You'll gas out. You can't move the bar fast because the muscle is congested. Then you go for extra reps, and now that's time under tension, and there'll be slower reps, of course. You can't move as fast as you could before. So that's kind of like the explanation of what I'm doing there with my slow reps on the leg sets, on the vertical leg press, and on the hack squat. And that's basically it for today. That's basically it. I got some ideas out there. So is this bodybuilding journey worth it? Of course it is. Of course it is. I'm not over invested in it. Every single resource that I have is invested into bodybuilding and I'm going to compete and make a living. No. I'm talking about lifestyle bodybuilding. And of course, nobody should limit you to say, well, you can't get as big or as jacked. If you're going to compete, you can do that. You can take X amount of substances and supplements, but if you're not going to compete, there's no reason to do that. That is the most asinine, backward idea I have ever heard. You can do whatever the loving thing that you want to do in life, okay? There's no reason to not do it. If you want to walk around jacked around the town, that's up to you. Is it stupid to say this man is trying to be as big or as muscular as possible, but he's not competing on a bodybuilding stage? That sounds to me like, if you have too many common people around just walking around jacked, it takes away from the shine of the competitors. And so they want a barrier of entry. No, we don't want like anybody else looking like us. If you're going to compete, and then, we'll filter you out here, barrier of entry, and only a few get through. And, that's the system. You don't have to participate in that. Believe me, that really is a matrix right there, and you can break out of it if you want to. You can do anything you want. Sure, you'll have pushback. Yeah, you'll have opinions. So what about people's opinions? My God. It's the most ridiculous, backward, stifling, retarding thing that a person can take into account is what other people are going to think about him. Oh my God, like anonymous people online. What does it matter? As long as you are achieving your goals, you're getting better. Your life is improving. Your overall well-being. You're doing good. People's opinions. That's not the way to do it. You should do it this way. Oh, really, man? Okay. They're entitled to their opinions. Every single human being on earth has an opinion. Many of them differ one from another. Some people say yes, some people say no. It's black, no, it's blue, it's green, and like you can go crazy if you want to satisfy people's opinions. Satisfy your own criteria, find out the truth of what you truly want to be, and do it. Do it. Sure, there's going to be people that are, they'll approve of what you're doing, and that's great to have positive feedback. Of course, you want to be surrounded by people who will lift you up. This is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. You want to have people around you that affirm and lift you up and help build up your project. What I'm trying to say is that don't be so overly concerned about negative opinions and what other people might think of what you're doing or not doing, because that's just human nature. And if you're going to go down that route, it will stifle, retard, and impede anything that you're going to do. So if you want to break out of the mold, you want to succeed, you have to satisfy your own criteria of what you should be doing. Lift heavy, lift your entire life, build it out, get as good as you can. Learn all you can about the body. I find out now that many of these coaches, many top bodybuilders and gurus, man, they know more than doctors. You go to the doctor to talk about something and, they're like kind of clueless at a certain level unless they're very specialized. And of course, in their specialties, they don't take into account like the real life situations of these athletes unless they're very specialized and they're like into sports nutrition or they're actually training themselves and they're involved in the thing. But, most of these top coaches know more about endocrinology than endocrinologists, or at least the general practitioner. It's really amazing to see not only the lack of knowledge in the general medical profession regarding very salient subjects about the body, about actually living life, and the extreme amount of knowledge that is now available to modern day physique and bodybuilding type people, strongmen, and all these, people who are involved in the body activity. So I leave you with that. Here's the narrated video of the leg session. I hope that, this serves to bring some value that, will build somebody up out there and help in your journey. God bless everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode. So today's leg session, it had been about a month since I had been to this gym and did this routine that had been so edifying and so excellent for building up my strength, my progressions in the last semester of 2022. So I decided to go back and redo the entire routine, this time with more of an emphasis on angle. Just a very slight change in angle with the quads. I never do this, like bringing the knees in and trying to really just go down very straight. I usually take a wider stance, not a sumo stance, but a wider stance. I engage more hip flexion and just an overall leg engagement than just targeting the quads. I've never been really, not good, but I haven't really been interested in targeting any specific muscle with angles. Well, today that changed. And today it just felt very, very easy, especially coming down with the brace and breathe. Starting the rep, the first thing I do is I take in a deep breath, I tighten my torso and my body, and I squat down, and I feel that it's almost, how do I explain it? Like a massage, like a release of, like when you yawn or you stretch. It's a very releasing type of feeling, the breathe and brace when you go down under load. Very interesting. It's really the first time that I actually engaged with that feeling. And so I was engaging with the breathe and brace and doing the angle. Now here it's a very nuanced, very slight differentiation, very slight change from the usual. But I can say, narrating this few days after the workout, my quads feel sore, straight up and down from the knee up to the hip in a way that's not usually felt when I do it the normal way. So, trying to build up to 5 plates, which is usually my maximum working weight. I have gone up to 6, but I didn't really want to push it today. I am on a cut, on a diet, and I don't feel the need to go for absolute weight PRs unless I absolutely feel the energy to do so at that moment. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm not doing the low reps going up on the pyramid. I'm trying to do as many reps as possible going up. And here we go for our top set. 5 plates. And it's just feeling really good. I didn't think I was going to get a PR. You know, my PR here would be 11 reps. And of course, when I got to 5, it started feeling very hard. And I got one more rep here. So I got 6 reps with the 5 plates, which is fine. And then I brought it down to 3 to do a time under tension style set, going down as slow as possible. And here I found the trick is to almost do a static hold on the way down, where you'd be like leaning against the wall and do a half squat the way they teach you at the very beginning to work your legs, but do it on the hack squat. So I'm using this in a very instrumental way to just work the quads at not only different angles, different tempos, and just basically just playing around with it. Felt good. My only regret is not having double the amount of reps. I should have just stayed here until I couldn't move my legs anymore. But the 10 reps felt somewhat difficult, especially the last few reps. Starting to get kind of gassed, and I felt, well, I have other exercises to do that I want to progress on. So here we went to the vertical press. For me, this is a slightly intimidating machine, although I am very capable on it. Intimidating, I say, because I always fear tearing an adductor, and I shouldn't really manifest that fear. I have torn the adductor in the past doing a 7-plate angled leg press, like the normal leg press. It just went down too deep, too fast, and it stretched the muscle a little bit, and then it was very sore, got black and blue, and that's how it goes. And here, it really works the adductor at a greater angle. So we're jumping up to 4 plates, and I'm feeling strong. Again, it's the breathe and brace. It's how you position yourself at the beginning of the set for your strength and power, and it just felt really strong. So I'm going to go for a PR now with the 5 plates. My previous personal best was 10 reps. And right off the bat, it felt good. The speed of the movement was decent. It wasn't overwhelming or too challenging. And so I knew that I was going to get at least a decent amount of reps. But when I got up to 8 and 9 reps, I knew that I wasn't going to stop. I needed to get the PR. And I did. I got 11 reps with 5 plates. Now, truth be told, you can always go deeper. But again, there is a safety issue. Now here I got really brave and put on 6 plates, which I've never ever in my life tried, and I got two reps. I just got scared. I think I could have gotten a third, but I said, what if I bomb? It's not a very safe apparatus. I mean, you do have safety pins, but if something happens, God forbid, it's hard to put them in the position and save yourself. And nobody's going to spot you with 6 plates. I mean, come on. So I brought it down to 3, half the weight, and was doing extreme range of motion and doing the pause at the bottom. Again, just playing around with the weight as much as possible. And that was basically it for today. You know, that was it. Went back and did another set here of the hack, and it was kind of a shorter routine, but it felt like it was enough. The hack squat, of course, I did greater amount of reps going up on the pyramid than I usually do. I usually do low reps until I hit my top set, and then I'll do a back off set. Today I just wanted to pyramid up, and that's what I did, just getting more leg volume in for the session. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope this video helps and serves as a instruction. If you can get some value out of it, I would love to hear about it. And God bless everybody. Thank you for joining me on my journey, and please hit the subscribe button.